Hello everyone, Jules here. Today I'd like to talk about a new tarot deck that has recently been published that is quite different, and this has been published recently by Blue Angel Publishing. This is the deck Unveiling the Golden Age by Izzy Ivy. So here is the box. It's quite a high, deep box than the usual oracle size box. It just lifts up at the side. It's a bit deeper than usual or higher than usual because the guidebook has about 300 pages, so there's 2 or 3 pages for each card, so that is why the box is deeper than usual. This is by Izzy Ivy, the same artist that created Beyond Lemuria Oracle. I don't have that oracle, but I wanted to get this deck because the artwork is quite beautiful, and there is something about the whole art, the concept, that intrigues me. I particularly like the artwork, but the concept intrigues me. And the subtitle of the deck is A Visionary Tarot Experience. So this is different because of the concept that's in this deck. The structure is still the same. It is a 78 card deck. It has 4 suits. It has a major arcana. So in that way, it is a tarot deck. But for me, the concepts are different to a usual kind of tarot deck. And the court cards are different. The court cards are different because a lot of the court cards don't necessarily have people for the court cards. So that is different. So here is the book, and as I was saying, 300-page book. It's very well written by the artist Izzy Ivy. I think it's one of the best guidebooks I've seen for a while, especially from Blue Angel Publishing. They usually have shorter guidebooks. A lot of thought has gone into this book, so it's a great guidebook. A few of the major arcana titles have been changed, and I'll mention those in a moment. So here is a beautiful art that's on the back of the book too. So it's quite a beautiful book. There are coloured pictures for each of the cards. I'll just give you an idea of that in a moment, but they're only small, really small coloured pictures, so you can see that like this for the High Priestess. So this is the small coloured picture for the cards. So I'll give you an idea of only about 4 of the major arcana titles have changed. So for the Fool, that's called the Muse. The Hanged Man is called the Suspended One, and I've seen that title used before on other decks occasionally, so that's okay. These are easy to sort of follow, really. Death is Rebirth, and that's pretty easy to kind of see too. And the Devil card is called the Catalyst. That one is the only one that I think is a little bit, it's a different kind of concept, the Catalyst, instead of the Devil. And as far as the court cards go, when I was saying they have changed, the Queen is the highest in this deck. But the Queen is called the Priestess. What would normally be the King is called Sage. The Knight is called Paladin. Paladin's quite an unusual one. And Page is Initiate. So you have Priestess as the highest, then Sage, then Paladin, then Initiate. You still have the usual 4 elements for the suits. So you've got fire, water, air and earth. But what would normally be the wands and fire is light codes. Cups are portals for the water. Swords are activations. And pentacles are earth guardians. And the earth guardian suit is the only one where you really kind of see human type figures, mainly in the deck. There are some really good spreads in this book. I love 3-card spreads. I'm really keen on 3-card spreads, and there are a lot of variations on the 3-card spread in here. Lots of ideas for using 3-card spreads. I love that. I think that's great. I really like that. This deck is also used for meditation, so there's a lot of information on how to use it for meditation. There's also ideas in here for how to use it for group work or group meditation as well. Just talking about, for example, when you go into the Major Arcana cards, so for each one you have got the title and a subtitle appears on the card as well, and you've got a general sort of description, kind of like a title description under that. You've got a reading, which is like the meaning for the reading, and what I really like for the Major Arcana cards is that you have a story behind the image. What inspired the artist for the Major Arcana images? So I like that. So you can see this all laid out here. I really love the idea of the story behind the image for the Major Arcana cards, because that's not always included in guidebooks, and I think that's a great idea. And then when you get on to the suits, you have got what they call the reading, which is the meaning, but in this book it's called reading, the reading section. And then for the Minor Arcana cards, you have the journeying, vision for journeying, which is to do with the meditation for each of the cards. And that is for the Minor Arcana, all of these meditation paragraphs, which is a great idea. And for quite a few of the Minor Arcana, you have correspondences, particularly for chakras. So people who are interested in chakras will like this deck. So that's really good. And all of the cards are numbered. I like that too. I like that. I think for this deck, it adds extra, it's like extra correspondence in a way. I love the way all of the cards are numbered. So you have 0 for the Muse, which would be the Fool card, and then it's from 1 to 77 for the rest of the deck. So I really like that. And I just love the guidebook. I think it's just so well done. It's really good. I think it's a great guidebook. Really like it. Okay, so now onto the cards. The cardstock is very good. It is matte finish. Here are the back of the cards. beautiful design on the back. Quite lovely. And as I said, matte finish, cardstock is good. And this size is sort of in between Tarot Standard and Oracle Standard. It's in between, and I'm glad, because I didn't really want full Oracle size. I just would have found that a little bit ungainly with 78 cards. So I'm glad this is in between size. And the gilding is just gorgeous. It is this beautiful burnished gold, which is like brass, but it's not shiny and it's not sharp. Hope you can see it. It's really beautiful. I really love. I'm not all that keen. I mean, I like gilding, but I don't like the shiny bling sort, and I don't like if it's a bit sharp either. But this is just this beautiful burnished gold. It's just so well done. Really beautiful, and they just feel so nice in your hand. Okay, so that's the cards as far as cardstock, gilding, size. Now for the cards, some of the cards that I particularly like. So we're going to start with some Major Arcana cards. You'll get the idea as I go along, but this is not your regular kind of tarot deck. This is the Magician. And a lot of the cards have special symbols because the whole deck can also be divided into symbolism. Like they're all grouped according to symbols as well. That's something else you can do with the cards. The cards can be used to make special grids and also healing, if you like that kind of thing. There's a lot of ideas in that book. So here is the Magician. So it's got a subtitle here. So you've got the main title, then a little descriptive sort of title, which is good. And I think that's a great idea too, because this deck is different because of the concept. Now by concept, it's a high frequency kind of deck. This is not necessarily usually my thing, but there's just something about this deck. Even when I saw the box and I knew a bit about this deck, that was about the publication of it. I just I knew a bit about the release of the deck, but I didn't expect to like it quite so much as I do. So here is the Magician. The Empress, which is Naga of the Golden Lotus. I love this for the Empress, especially for people who want something different for the Empress. I think this is really beautiful. So these cards for the Major Arcana have the usual numbering. So this is number 3 for the Empress. Beautiful card. This is different. For the Hierophant, this is called Lineage. It's a really beautiful card. So this kind of reminds you of ancestry, but I think it really goes further than that. It's probably it's got more to do with the human race, the evolution of the human race, because you've got the faces here and you've got faces up here too. So it's a really beautiful card. I like this for the Hierophant too, because it's That's the other thing that's different about this deck. Anyone who expects a more conventional deck, you may not want to get this deck because it's just going to be quite a bit different. You know, this is like the new millennia kind of deck. So if you want something that's more forward future orientated, then you'll like this deck. So that's the Hierophant, number 5, but it's called Lineage. For the Strength card, number 8, this is called Origins of Light. And you can see, you know, I think you'll get the idea probably already. This deck's quite different. That's the Strength card, Origins of Light. And a different thing again for the Hermit. This is called Contemplative Solitude. Beautiful colours. Now some people who have the Lemurian, Beyond Lemuria Oracle would want to get this. They may want to get this because they might want more of the same, and that's a, you know, that's a good idea. But as I was saying, I don't have that deck, and for some reason I prefer, you know, I like this one more. So there may be some people who will just get this deck like me. This is the Hermit card. Contemplative Solitude. This is the picture that's on the box for the Justice card, and it's called Alignment of the Heart. So this is representing the earth here. It's really beautiful. One of my favourite cards in the deck. Now this is the Rebirth card that would normally be the Death card, and it's called Phoenix of the White Fire. I can understand if there'll be some people who will see this deck more like an Oracle deck, and that's, you know, a 78 card Oracle deck, that's okay too. I'm sort of in two minds about this. It's got the definite tarot structure and number of cards. Like I said, it's only the court cards that sort of, they are different in not being really people cards, so that makes it different for me, but it doesn't, you know, it's not that big a deal, not for me. So this is a Rebirth card, Phoenix of the White Fire, the Star, and this is Evolving Light Codes. Really beautiful. Beautiful Moon card, the Moon, New Earth Transition. Beautiful Sun card, the Sun, Infinite Life Force. Really beautiful card. love the beautiful gold trim here for the titles, the bottom of the cards. And quite a gorgeous Judgment card, Collective Awakening for the Judgment card. It's got this beautiful white Pegasus horse. So there's some of the major arcana cards. The other thing I like about this deck is that I find it interesting as well. It's not too positive. I know that a lot of these types of decks are quite, I don't know, they're just, for me, they're a little bit sort of too positive. But this, I think it's because the deck is interesting. Now, I'm going to start with the light codes, because the light codes is the fire suit. So this is the Ace of Light codes. And you'll be able to see there's a title as well, like the major arcana cards. And these are the numbers that continue for all the cards. There's a number there. So that's the Ace of Light codes. And for some reason, I've very quickly learnt these suit names, which is good. Because if some people may struggle like that for a bit, but you've got the book. But for me, for some reason, soon after I opened this, I just remembered the names of the suits. I think it's because I just like the way that they're different. So, Ace of Light codes. Eight of Light codes. And Sage of Light codes. You'll be able to see what I mean here. This is not a person card for a court card. What would normally be a court card. This is the Sage of Light codes. So this would normally be a knight. But Sage of Light codes. Beautiful colours. But in some way this intrigues me as well. I don't mind that the court cards are not necessarily people cards. I like the difference. It's quite unique. So Sage of Light codes. Then portals for the Capsule Water suit. Ace of Portals, which is Star Nursery. I like this. Ace of Portals, beautiful Three of Portals. So portals are openings, which I think is a good correspondence for cups, because they're openings. Three of Portals, and this is Paladin of Portals, which would normally be the king. So you can see what I mean. This is quite a different deck, but it's called Rainbow. Rainbow Portal is the title of the card, but underneath it's got the title Paladin of Portals. So even Paladin is an unusual title to use. I just wanted to check something in the book again for a moment. Just be a moment. Yeah, I'm just double checking something because I think I may have possibly said that Paladin is not the king, Paladin is the knight. So when I showed the sage before, that was the king. So this is something I've got to get used to. So a priestess and initiate. Priestess is the queen, page is the initiate. Now that those two are easy for me. But I've got to get used to the knight is paladin and the king is sage. Okay. So this paladin is the knight. It's paladin of portals I just showed. That's the knight. The paladin. Okay. Now, ace of activations. This is the air suit, otherwise swords. And I like the way activations being chosen for the title. Ace of activations. Four of activations, which would normally be four of swords. I really like this. Very interesting concept for what would normally be four of swords. This is four of activations. And initiate of activations. So the initiate is the page. Initiate of activations. So that's quite beautiful. And now for the very interesting earth suit, because these are earth guardians. So you have the ace of earth guardians. And this is representing the guardian of the meadow, because you have the meadow word here. So this is the ace of earth guardians. So this suit mainly represents different guardians of different landscapes. Ace of Earth Guardians, six of Earth Guardians, and this is the African Plains. Got the African Plains here and six of Earth Guardians at the bottom. And the final card I'm showing for today, the Sage of Earth Guardians, which would normally be, the Sage is the king, the Woodland Forest. Really beautiful card. That's the Sage of Earth Guardians. So, there's a few cards from Unveiling the Golden Age by Izzy Ivy, published by Blue Angel Publishing very recently. This will be available worldwide probably next month, from what I can tell. But I really like this deck. It's different, I think, for people who would like something different, who also like the art of Izzy Ivy. The book is well written. The cards are great. I really like the deck. I didn't expect to quite like it as much as I do. And I'm glad. I think for people who really would like something different and something with some different concepts and ideas, I think the subtitle's quite true, a visionary tarot experience, and it's called that because of the meditation journeys that can be used with the cards. But for people who would really like to have a deck that's quite different, and I mean, even if you want to regard this, as I said, as a 78 card oracle, you know, if you can't quite get used to a few name changes, I think the court cards may be a little bit challenging for some people. But I mean, there's lots of other decks that are more conventional that you can use if you want, if you're in a conventional mindset at times. I mean, for people who only like mainly conventional decks, this deck will not be for you. But if you like me and you actually welcome something different, something unique, something beautiful and interesting, you know, I think this is a great deck for that. So I'll put some details below the video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.